While an enterprising adolescent got a job marketing tongue courses above the phone, he wasn't departure to let the reality how he didn't include a telephone stay in his path. It was 1991 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and the later 19-year-old Flavio Augusto da Silva had got the telesales stance for a high school training British. The capture was how the part did not go in accessing to an office space, and instead of he was anticipated to job of household. And sadly his parents didn't include a landline. Domestic telephone channel were a opulence in Brazil at the period, and his parents could not provide the 1,000 reais, $272, £202, install royalties. Though if they could, down there was a couple-year wait listing. So in portable phones, yet a item of the next for the extensive most of human beings, Mr. Augusto had to believe sideways, or else his possession in the job was not departure to recent really length. His decision was to use the social telephones at Rio Santos Dumont Aeroport, and do the transportation hub his office space. Present Mr. Augusto's Tongue High School Industry Wiser formation has an yearly circulation of $113 meter, £84 meter, and Flavio's private riches is alleged at $700 meter. I include no doubts how I found my urge in lifetime at how Aeroport, says the 46-year-old. Behind in 1991 his junior personality quickly found how he was quite nice at marketing places in British tongue classes, in spite the lively Aeroport noises in the backdrop. Rapidly growing up via the industry to the stance of business CEO, 4 persons year after Mr. Augusto solved it was period to set up his own British tongue high school. I felt I was prepared for he says. This business I was work for wasn't readily to do the investment to enhance the quality assurance of their courses. I knew the food and I knew I could do he. Yet, Mr. Augusto floored 2 instant issues how he had to surmount. First of all, time he was nice at marketing British tongue courses, he oneself just knew a few speech of British at how period. So it was departure to be hard for him to develop the factual training content. Secondly, Mr. Augusto couldn't get a banking lending. So instead of he had to trust on a $20,000 overdraft on that he was profitable, a top concern bet. Employing 18 human beings in British tongue skills to evolve the training material and method, he gambled how quite members of the social would register on the courses for him not to go bosom following fair a few months. Launch his Wisdom Up industry classes he solved he would attention on engaging a various kind of client to the most of tongue schools in Brazil. At the period largest schools in Brazil were concentrated on family and human beings departure overseas on feast. His concept was to instead of evolve a year for adults who necessary to find out British to assist them in the Brazilian jobs marketplace. Down there were lot world companies inbound in Brazil how year, so British would be a consumer demand in the employing trial, he says. Fortunately his wonder was proper, and in spite a hard economical background, Brazil's bloating bet in 1995 was 148%, 1,000 human beings signed up to the At First Wisdom Up classes in Rio in the At First year. And by 1998 down there were 24 Wisdom Up schools utilizing 1,000 human beings, through Brazil. 2 years after Wisdom Up begun to extend, though more rapid following it adoptee the deductible pattern, and by 2012 down there were 400 branch through the nation. How was the time Mr. Augusto mind his job was made at the business? As an businessman I see myself as a designer, he says. I wish to construct a success draft, and later go for the following problem. And so how year he sold out Wisdom Up, of that he was the single proprietor, for $480 meter to Brazilian print conglomeration Grupo Abril. The following problem for Mr. Augusto was departure in soccer, and in 2013 he purchased a most share in U.S. Party Orlando Town for $120 meter, soon up at United Main League Football, Mills, the top level of the US soccer framework. As concern in Mills has grown up in latter year, the importance of the teams has soared. Present Orlando Town is valuable at $490 meter, manufacturing it one of the richest in Mills. One of the major reasons how Mr. Augusto chose Orlando is since the town is one of the largest famous across the sea feast destinations for Brazilians. Behind in Brazil Wisdom Up struggled by Grupo Abril's property. So in reality how in 2015 it proposed to sell the business behind to him for $107 meter, less than rather than a block of which Flavio had sold out it to. He recognized. By his renovated property the industry has advanced once again, and down there are now 440 Wisdom Up branch through Brazil, Argentina, Colombia and Mexico, run by parental team Wiser formation. Mr. Augusto say he wants to growth the to 1000 by 2020, so he has no present plans to keep the industry once again. Brazilian industry analysis Richard Mata says how Mr. Augusto has a repute for creature and daring businessman who rapidly advanced his business since he planned his stairs in preliminary. Though now lively in both of the tongue industry and soccer clubhouse, Mr. Augusto routinely updates his on the internet blog post Assessment General, that urged to propose consultation and promotion to would-be youthful entrepreneurs. I see my path as testimony how all is able of making he, says the marital dad of 3. I don't he sense I'm superior rather than nobody. He's just a question of training how to do he.